What's up, people? This is your host Elias, back after a long break from streaming, and yeah, I'm back with a bang. Uh, I hope so, at least. Today with Stefan, and we'll be talking about quite a lot of topics. Actually, we may be doing this show weekly from now on some different days. We'll see upon our availability, and we'll let you guys know on all the socials and all the updates what time we'll be going live. So yeah, make sure you guys hit the like, hit the subscribes, and yeah, I guess I need to regather all my subscribers because it's all over the place right now. They don't even know what time I have to do shows, so it will take some time. Yeah, Stefan, how are you doing?
I'm doing well, man. I'm doing well. It's a bit weird to have a weekend without football for me. Arsenal aren't playing this week because they're not in the FA Cup, sadly. But it's good. It's good. There's a lot of topics, a lot of I would say big time breaking news over the last few days. So it's definitely good to actually sit down and just discuss them.
Yep. When are your Champions League games starting now? It's like next week.
I think our Champions League game is, if I'm not mistaken, the 22nd of February. I think it was then.
Oh, that's late. That's
It's
late.
it,
So
it's still quite far away. Yeah, it's still quite
I
far
see.
away.
So
Yeah.
before that, you guys are just playing like one game a week kind of
I mean,
scenario.
not even one game a week. Like we played 10 days. We're on Tuesday. It's gonna be 10 days since we played the last game, and then even before that we played the last game. We went to Dubai for like a mini camp, so that was 2 weeks off. So I mean, the players definitely have had a pretty big break over the last month or so. Like they've played one game for almost a month, so it's a pretty big break compared to what it was at the start of the season, which was we played pretty much every 3 days.
I
So
see.
yeah,
Okay, and you guys have Arsenal have Nottingham
Forest,
Forest. Yeah.
Nottingham Forest away. So
Is
Nottingham
it but which day is the game? I think it's
on
pretty early in
Tuesday.
the
On
on
Tuesday, yeah.
Tuesday night. Tuesday night game, right? So I think that would be Wednesday for me. Wednesday morning for me, I suppose.
Wednesday.
Yep.
Yeah, I think you guys also play on Tuesday, no?
We are playing on Tuesday night as
I
well.
think.
Is it? No, we are playing on Wednesday night.
Let me check.
Yeah, I think it's Wednesday night for us, and then it's Tuesday for you guys.
Yep, it's Wednesday for you guys. Yeah.
Stay for us, and then
Mhm.
what's going on at Arsenal? You must be very happy after last night's
I'm
result,
very
but
happy.
okay, let's talk about the result from last night. Was it last night or 2 nights
No,
ago?
no,
Yeah,
no.
two nights
It was on the
ago.
result was
Yes.
last weekend. We beat Palace 5-0. I mean, it was we played worse against Palace than we did against West Ham, than we did against Liverpool in the FA Cup final. And in a way, I mean, we didn't finish our chances in those games, but against Crystal Palace we were clinical and we scored 5 goals. So the difference was that I think the stats balanced themselves out in the end, because I mean, Arsenal had I think against West Ham they had they had 30 shots and XG of over, I think, 3.5, I think, in the end, and they scored 0 goals. In the Palace game, again, we had a high XG, but I think the XG was like 3, and we scored 2 more goals than we should have scored based on the chances that we had. So yeah, so for me, we're playing really good in terms of if you watch the structure of play and stuff, but we just need to find the finishing touches. And to be honest, I'm really intrigued to see this away game, because Forest away has been a super difficult game for Arsenal over the years. We've lost there a number of times now in the FA Cup 2 years ago. Last season we lost there, so and we haven't had a good away performance in ages, Elias. Like I can't remember the last like really good away performance that we won. So I think Arsenal need to continue the momentum from the Palace game and just see. And to be honest, Forest are really weak at the moment. I would say they're the most affected by the African Cup of Nations. They're missing
Yep.
6 players. They're missing 6 players. So um, I would say they're at their weakest at the moment, and we need to take full advantage of that.
Yeah. Uh, do you think that the Palace result? Do you think that Palace? I sorry lost you there. Do you think the Palace was the one who's most affected by Afcon or Nottingham
No, no,
Forest?
no. Forest. The
Forest.
the upcoming Forest game is where they have a number of their key players
Yeah.
are from African countries that are playing currently, and they're really, I would say, I would say they're the team currently in the Premier League that is suffering the most from that tournament.
Yep. And what are your thoughts going? So I can say that you're pretty confident going into the Nottingham Forest game.
I mean, I mean, we should be based on what I just said about Forest, and if Arsenal want to be a serious team and want to challenge for the league this year, which everybody expects us to do.
Wow. So you're going back to the league challenge. You
Yeah,
think
no, in
you can win
terms
the
of
league?
but Elias, as you know, in the Premier League, it's very reactionary. So let's say Arsenal beat Liverpool the week after, and
Okay.
everybody's gonna say Arsenal are back in the race again. So it's very reactionary. We just need to build momentum and focus on ourselves. As I said, I think Liverpool, they haven't had a tough spell yet in the league. They haven't had a bad run. Every team has it. Man City had it in October, November. We had it in December. And Liverpool still haven't had theirs, which they will have. And yeah, so for me, I think we need to exploit that. And I think that Arsenal need to be more clinical away from home. And I think we will see that. Forest, I watched him last game. I watched him. It was against Brentford. They really weren't impressive. So yeah, I think we should beat them. Yeah.
I see. Yeah, actually, if you look at Forest right now, they have like so many players out. Their defender Boli is not there. Aina is not there. Aurier is out. Nia Kate was this guy's name. Musa Nia
Yeah,
Kate. Yeah,
Diakate,
he's out.
Kuyate is at the AFCON. Uh,
Tuarez is out. By the way, okay, since we are on Tuarez, what happened with that Tuarez?
I mean, I mean, he wasn't. He was a very raw, like in terms of he was a low cost signing. So he moved to,
No,
he
no,
had a
that's not what I'm asking. I'm asking something else.
the dogs thing. I mean, yeah, it's weird. I don't know who does that, but people calling for him to be stripped of his dogs
It
is a
was
bit
so
harsh.
gross.
It's just weird. It's not Arsenal's fault. I don't know how you can do background checks on that in terms of that he kisses his dogs, but yeah, he's not at
No,
Arsenal.
I'm more surprised that he actually videoed it. Like, if you want to do it something like
Mm,
that, you just do it on your own. What's the
I
point of
agree,
video?
man. I agree. It was super just weird, but
If you
football
are
players.
weird, just do it in secret. Like, what's the point of
Yeah,
going
but
out? And
football players aren't the most intelligent people in society, as you know. So yeah, but supposedly he's quite close to a permanent move to
especially if they are
Marseille.
Arsenal players, they are not.
Yeah, but he's quite close to a permanent move to Marseille. So
I see.
they're saying by the end of the window that could be agreed. So yeah, let's see what happens. So yeah,
Yep. And then yeah, I think they have like whole of their team. Elanga is out as well with thigh injuries.
Elanga's injured. He's been a key player for them.
Sangare is on international duty. Koyate is on
They have
international duty.
some of their players have performed well. They have impressed me. I really like their left-footed center back,
Which one?
Murillo.
Is it?
Murillo, he's very
Is it?
good.
Oh, Murillo is good.
Yeah, I've
Uh,
been impressed by him. Everybody raves about Morgan Gibbs White, but
I
I'm not.
guess Harry Tofolo has been their best defender this season.
He's not good, man. He's a right. I think he's a right back. I think he's a fullback, but like he's second choice to he's at the AFCON. Ola Aina. He's their he's their left wing back, and then their right wing back. I
He has a
think.
couple of assists though. He has like 1 goal, 3 assists.
No,
Not
he's a good
that
crosser
hard.
of the ball, but whenever I watch him, he just looks like a championship player that's transitioned as part of the team into the Premier League. I don't think he's a the guy who plays a right back. I remember is from Argentina, the Argentinian right back who scored the winning penalty. Montiel, yeah, Montiel plays for them there. So I wouldn't say to follow is a guaranteed starter. For me, the two players that impress me that are the dangers are obviously Morgan Gibbs White and what's his name, Chris Wood. But Chris Wood, I think, is at the Asian Cup, if I'm not mistaken, with New Zealand. I might be mistaken. I need to check that. So he's probably going to be out. They have Noah Langa, who's been key for the way they play on the counter attack. But yeah, I'm not really impressed with their total squad, man. It's very, very average. Apart from the center back they have, Murillo, I wouldn't look at any other player in their team. I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, yeah, like the kind of players that they have, I don't think they have. I don't see where the goals are coming from for Forest. Like they had most of their forwards and the midfielders who can at least score goals. They are all more or less
No,
not there.
and not only that, Liz, they're gonna have no left back now because Nuno Tavares is gonna be, how do you call it, cup tied or whatever because he's on loan, so he's not gonna play. Ola
Yep, he's not
Aina,
going to play.
yeah, Ola Aina is at the AFCON. Nigeria just beat Cameroon yesterday, so he's gonna continue playing at the AFCON. So they have no left back. They have no left back there. So they have severe weaknesses. Their midfield looks lightweight without Kuyate in it. So for me, and their other midfielder Mangala, he's been unsettled by Napoli. He wants to move to Napoli. So I don't know what state of mind he's gonna be in. Is he gonna start? I need to look. I need to look at their previous game. Sorry to the viewers. I should have done some homework on Nottingham Forest, but yeah, this,
No,
I
that's
didn't
fine.
really
Yep. And what are your availabilities like, and what are your injuries like? Do you guys what's going on
available.
with
I mean,
you?
Arsenal's getting very healthy. People are worried because we didn't see Gabriel Jesus or Zinchenko on training picks, but there hasn't been any sort of news that they're injured. They're back. They played a full 90 minutes. Partey is back. He's been training for over a week, which is massive for Arsenal. He's a top player, so he's going to help. And so right now we only have Fabio Vieira and Timber out, and both of those are supposedly Fabio Vieira is going to come back very soon to give us another option, and Timber supposedly is going to be back in the next 2 to 3 weeks in full training. So
But
our
Timber would play more as a left back, I suppose,
no,
for you.
that's the point. That's the point. Like he can play as a left back, he can play as a right back. It depends on the game. It depends where we need him, but he's a super versatile player. He can play as a center
Okay,
back.
where do you see Arteta starting him then?
I see him starting him depending on the game and the availability of Tomiyasu. I see him starting at right back, in my opinion.
Yep. Okay, I have a question here from Dan Davenport. Hey, bro. According to rumors,
No,
Ange is on one of the manager lists to be contender to
no.
replace Club. What do you think about this rumor? I
I mean,
don't think that.
go on.
I don't think it's going to be Ange. Of all
No.
the potential rumors, I think this rumor has to be one of the bottom most ones in terms of its popularity as well. Like, yeah, no, I don't see
No, I
Ange
mean,
getting
yeah.
that.
Why would he leave? He's only been there a year. Like, why would he leave?
Exactly, and his contract is like 5 years contract, so I don't see him leaving. Because even like if a manager, if I'm not mistaken, if a manager has to cancel his contract, I think he has to pay a certain amount of
No, no, he
compensation.
doesn't. He doesn't. The club usually managers have buyout clauses. So if another club wants the coach, they pay a certain release clause and they
Yeah, so
release.
definitely the club would have to pay
Yeah, would have to
release
pay.
for.
I'm sure Levy is, I'm sure Levy's very smart because I know this in the UK, you don't need to put release clauses in contracts for players. In Spain, you
No, you
do.
do, you do.
No, 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 you don't. No, you don't.
I
Check.
thought you do. In the managers one, in the players one, definitely they
In the
have.
managers one, I don't know. I'm pretty. If it's maybe the managers and players are different, but the players one I know you don't. In Spain, you have to. Every single player or manager has to. That's why you see when Real Madrid players sign a new deal, they have a release clause of 1 billion euros because they have to put that no matter what. So they have to make it super unrealistic that somebody pays it. So I don't know. I just don't see this as realistic. I see them
Pick up.
going for a coach that's available. If I told you this, I think they're going to make a massive mistake if they hire Xabi Alonso. Don't get me wrong, he's doing a tremendous job at Bayer Leverkusen, but the styles are the complete opposite. The managers are the complete opposite in terms of their temperament and the way they handle themselves. If you look at Klopp, he's extremely passionate. In my opinion, sometimes to the degree of a complete moron, just like Conte was, in terms of just jumps into the crowd. Like if Arteta or any of the other coaches did that, or Ten Hag, they would be like banned for a month. Like some of the shit that Klopp got away with, running onto the pitch after a winning goal, like stuff like that, like just, yeah. And I think Xabi Alonso is the complete opposite of that. And if you want
Yeah,
to,
Yepi is a bit. Is more of a very composed score, like very elegant
exactly,
stuff. Yeah.
he's like a Pep or Arteta. I would say is in
No, I
between.
won't say Pep is very composed either. Pep is very
Yeah, but yeah, I
passionate as
mean,
well.
of course, they're passionate and they complain and stuff. But I would say Pep and Arteta are in the middle. Like Arteta complains, but he doesn't jump into the crowd. He doesn't like, like what Klopp does. Like just run. He runs to celebrate with the players when they score a goal. Like I've seen that number. And
Yeah.
I think the perfect coach who's just as fiery, who's just as passionate. But not only that, forget how they act. Their philosophy of football, Elias. If you watch the way Xabi Alonso plays exactly like Arsenal or Man City. Short passes, control, possession-based, full control, like not as chaotic, not as like nowhere near as counter-attacking and, as like transition-based. Whilst Klopp is extremely counterattack, like he described it when they asked him once, how can you describe your football compared to Wenger, and he described Wenger's football as a symphony or orchestra, and his football was heavy metal football. So I just don't see that meshing, and I also don't see the players that they have currently. If Xabi Alonso wants to come in and instill that style, apart from McAllister maybe, and because he's had that. He's had that experience at Brighton playing that football. Apart from McAllister and maybe Thiago, if he can actually play, he's always injured. I don't see any other player that has the technical ability to play that football there. Because if you look at their wingers, they're mostly athletic players. Like Darwin Núñez is very fast, but his touch isn't the best. So is Luis Diaz. So I struggle. And not only that, if you look at the reason why he left, let's be honest, Liverpool are. I wouldn't call them a sinking ship. Yeah, say hello to Max. He's going crazy.
Hi, Max.
Yeah,
What
yeah.
happened to Max?
I would say it's slightly a sinking ship. If you look at their best players, Virgil van Dijk is 32. He's on the decline. You're not going to replace, let's be honest, a generational defender. I don't think you're going to find another defender in the Premier League for the next 10 to 15 years that was as
Sorry,
good
who's the generational defender?
as Van Dijk. Wouldn't you agree? Have you seen a better defender in the last 5 to 6 years, Elias?
Not really. I think Mickey Van de Ven is on the track.
Okay. Mickey Van de Ven needs to do a lot before he reaches Van Dijk's level, but okay, maybe. But
he's already van there. There's already a van there.
Okay, yeah, but let's see. But he's gonna need to replace him. That's gonna be super difficult. He's lost another key piece in Matip, who's leaving at the end of the season. There are other key player. Andy Robertson is getting old. He's also not at the same level, so he's on the decline. I would say,
but Tsimikas is not bad. I think Tsimikas.
Yeah, but Tsimikas
time, I think
Andy Robertson at his best.
Yeah, but Andy Robertson is great. Like you're talking about a great.
That's my point. That's my point. When you have, and even looking at their forwards, right? Jota is good, but have they replaced Firmino and especially Sadio Mane? No. And then you look at who's their two best players. Let's look at their two best players. Salah and
might leave in summer, yeah.
No, Salah, forget that. Salah might, but Salah is over 30 now. Van Dijk is over 30. And Salah, some are saying he's the best winger in Premier League history based on the stats. You could argue that. You're not going to replace that type of player. You're just those type of generational players for Liverpool, like when Henry left Arsenal. You're not going to replace Henry. You're not going to replace Bergkamp. It's very, very difficult to replace.
So you're not going to replace who?
Like Salah. How are you going to replace? How are you going to find?
Yes, replacing Salah would be tough, really, for them.
Van Dijk, Salah, even Robertson is going to be tough.
Jurgen Klopp was a big fan of Bukayo Saka, so he would have come for him.
He's not. Bukayo Saka signed a new deal in the summer, man. He's not going anywhere.
Yeah, but that could be the deal that you can get a lot more money for Saka. If you guys ain't winning trophies, like
the Kroenkes, dude, the Kroenkes.
I know.
Super ambitious. They won't let it happen. And now people are saying Arteta is linked to Barcelona, which, you know what? I'm really happy that he's linked to the Barcelona job
I
and
thought you
to
are
the.
Arteta in.
No, I'm Arteta in, but I'm happy because now, if I'm Arteta, I would use that leverage that Barcelona are interested in me by saying, "Show me, back me further," and they're gonna give him more money in the summer transfer window. That's in order to convince him to actually say that they're fully behind him. And
So
to be
you
honest,
think
yeah,
that Kroenke's will back Arteta just so that he doesn't go to
I mean,
Barcelona?
how have
Wow.
they not backed Arteta? They have backed him to the tilt, man.
I mean,
Like
they have already backed him, but they will further back
they will
him just
further, yeah, they will because Arteta would say, "Look, Barcelona want me. They're my childhood club."
isn't that kind of suicidal? Because I mean, with all the backing he has had, I mean,
Mm.
he hasn't really done exceptionally well
I think he,
either.
I,
Like
I I
I would
think he
say that
hasn't
he has progressed to a certain extent from the years he was
I mean,
finishing eighth, then
progressed
he went to
his
Europa, then he is now
progressed.
in
Yeah,
Champions League. But
again,
he has
I,
not done anything exceptionally well.
I mean, I think progressed is a bit of an understatement. He took us from, let's be honest, a completely toxic joke of a club. He took us there to challenge for the league title last season when nobody expected us to do. Now we're a serious club in terms of you see it with the players that we're signing, with the players that want to come to Arsenal.
Who want to
Before
come to Arsenal among the serious big signings? I'm curious.
Declan Rice. Declan Rice was wanted by Man City, by Bayern Munich.
Okay, yeah, that's one.
Timber was wanted by Bayern Munich. I mean, if you asked me 3 or 4 years ago when we had just started with Arteta, we were under Emery. I mean, the biggest example right now, Ivan Toney. Ivan Toney goes on podcasts, puts on Instagram photos, like reposts Arsenal, like David Raya pics of him in an Arsenal shirt. Like Tony really wants to come, and everywhere it's leaked that Tony really wants to come to Arsenal. That's their number one part. If you told me this 4 years ago that we would be linked and that one of the
Yeah,
best
but
strikers,
Tony isn't like really a big player. I
well,
mean, he has
he's
done
one of the.
exceptionally. He has overperformed in the Premier League for Brentford, yes.
That's
But like, I won't
so.
say he's like.
Imagine if he joins an Arsenal where he's gonna get, instead of getting 1 or 2 chances a game, he's gonna get 6 or 7, and he's gonna play with Bukayo Saka. He's gonna play with Odegaard. He's gonna play with Martinelli. He's gonna play with Declan Rice, with Partey, with players like that. He's gonna be much better. And in my opinion, he suits the fact that he's a completely different option to any of the players we have. And if you ask me right now, Ivan Toney, apart from Man City, starts for every single Big Six team. He's better than he's better if you look at, apart from finishing, even though he scores plenty of goals, he's better than Son in almost every aspect of the game apart from
Are
finishing.
you serious?
Yeah. Oh, I mean,
No, I would
okay,
disagree.
okay. Let's
I
as
would
as
heavily
wait,
disagree.
wait. I'm not saying he's a
Son is
better.
a
Calm down. I'm not saying he's a better player. I'm saying as a number 9, he can hold up the ball better. He's miles better in the air. Let's be honest. He's miles better in the air.
okay.
Can you even compare him physically?
Maybe better in the air, yes.
Okay,
But
build
I
up
don't
play,
think that
build up play. Who's better? Building
no.
up the
Son
play.
is better. Son is
Son
better
is
as
better
build
than
up.
Ivan Toney, one
Yes.
of the most physical players in the Premier League, in holding up
Have
the
you
play.
ever seen Son? You have seen the goal, right, where Son actually from all the
Son,
way.
okay, Son is good at running through the lines and breaking. Tony stops the play, builds up the play, passes it to the wingers. Can Son play like Tony, like an old school number 9? Can he? Be real,
Old
Elias.
school number 9. Yeah, he can. Definitely he
No,
can.
he can head the ball and he can hold up the ball as
Yes,
well.
he can. Okay, he can't head the ball. Okay, there's a reason for that. If you notice, Son for many years he was the main person who
I
was
know
actually
he was
taking
a
the
winger,
corners.
but we're not talking
He's a
about.
winger. No, listen.
Yeah.
He for the number of times he was not the target man. He was the one actually who used to take the corners. Players like that usually they are not trained to hit the ball as much as the others. So you can understand from that point of view, the Son is more of a foot player rather than his head. But lately, actually, his heading has improved as well. Like he has been
I'm
scoring
not.
headers as well.
You're missing. Son is a better footballer. I agree with you. He's a better player. But we're talking about when it comes to the number 9 position. Who would you have playing the number 9 position? Ivan Toney. Are you seriously telling me that you would have?
Okay, if
Son
Son
is a great
plays
player.
on the wing, yes. Over Richarlison, I'll have Ivan Toney, yes. But I'll have Vlahovic over Ivan Toney actually if I have an
Well,
option.
okay, Vlahovic and Ivan Toney are extremely similar. They're
Yeah,
extremely effective. They score goals, but again, Vlahovic is exactly what you described. Like Tony, I would say is better than Vlahovic because Tony is faster a little bit. He's a little bit faster than him, but Tony's better
he's
in
more
the air.
physical, I would say. No, but Vlahovic is quite fast as well. I
No,
think
no,
Tony is a
Vlahovic.
lot more
I love
physical.
Vlahovic too, man. I would definitely have Vlahovic, but Tony is a. There's no better player in Europe in the air. I think Osimhen and him
Are
are
you
top.
saying that there's no better player in the air than Tony in
In
Europe?
striker at striker, if I'm not mistaken, I
Harry
think
Kane,
Osimhen.
Harry Kane, Harry Kane is
No,
definitely better
no,
than
no, no. In
Tony
terms
in
of
the air.
winning headers, dual percentage, like
Have
wins.
you seen? Are you telling me that Harry Kane is not better than Tony in terms of winning headers?
In
Are
my
you
opinion,
really
in
telling
the
me?
last season, I know this. Last season, Tony was the best aerial player in the Premier League in terms of striker. Nobody won more headers. Nobody scored, I think, more headers than Tony, from what I remember. So Tony, just forget that. I'm talking to. If you look at Tony now, let's get back to the point.
Okay.
Tony can easily play for Liverpool, in my opinion. Tony, in my opinion, is better than Darwin Núñez. They're different players, but I think as a pure number 9, he might not fit the system. But okay, he easily starts for Chelsea.
It was
Absolutely,
Harry Kane. It was Harry Kane. Again, you're wrong. It was
it
Harry
was
Kane
Harry
last
Kane.
season. He had 10 headed goals, and Ivan Tony is not even in the top 5. What are you talking about?
I don't know,
Last
man.
season.
I just
Last
know
season.
I just know his aerial percentage winning wise is amazing. Like he's one of the best in Europe.
He is not even in the top 5. Yeah, he's not even in the top 5. Let me just see. He's
Who's
not even in
who,
the.
who's in the top 5 aerial
Okay,
wise?
sorry. Who's this? Brentford. Even their guy, what's his name? Yuan Visa. He has like 3 headers, 3 goals
No, no,
for
no. I'm not
headers.
talking about headed goals. I'm talking about winning headers, like percentage wise, like in the
Winning
air.
headers. That kind of stat I'll have to look at one of the
Just forget
details.
it. Like this is what I mean. I need to prepare more for shows. My bad. But okay, forget that. Let's look at the teams. He easily starts for Chelsea. Let's be honest. He walks into the Chelsea team, walks into the Man United team. Okay, I think he's better than Callum Wilson from Newcastle, and is a different type of player from Isaac. Even though I really like Isaac, Watkins may I think he's better than Watkins. I think he's a better finisher in my opinion, but Watkins is still really good. I rate Watkins. So if you look at the top 6 teams in the Premier League, he can easily play for most of them. Let's be honest, Elias. So and for Arsenal, I would say Gabriel Jesus is really good for our system, but he doesn't score enough goals. That's the issue.
Yep, he
And
doesn't.
yeah, he doesn't score.
Yeah,
But
I
in
mean,
terms
definitely, I would agree with you that both Spurs and Arsenal at right now, I think the one thing that both
But
of
not
us
only
need is
Spurs,
a
man.
target
He can play for Liverpool. He can easily play for Man. He walks into the Man United team and into the Chelsea team.
into the Chelsea
I
team.
could
So
argue
definitely,
I could argue he would play for Villa. I think he's a little bit better than Watkins. He could play. So all of the top teams that we just listed, Brighton walks into the Brighton team as a number 9. They have Welbeck playing a number 9. So I think he's a top player, and if he has 1 year left on his deal, and Arsenal can get him for 50 to 60 million in the summer, I would bite your hand off for Ivan Tony.
yeah,
He's
I mean, definitely. I mean, if let's say I were to choose between Vlahovic and Tony, I'll go for Vlahovic. But I know that a lot of people they
why?
are
Why would you go
even.
for Vlahovic? Vlahovic is doing
I
well.
think Vlahovic. I know. I think Vlahovic is a bit more of a technical player.
He's younger. That's the only
He's younger
reason.
is another factor. He's younger is another factor. He has a lot more potential. Is one thing. Definitely, the other thing that I like about him is he's more of a technical goal scorer than more of a hard hitter, fast pace. And I think in a Spurs system, I think it would really suit us. He is someone who can create play as well. I think he's more creative in terms of his
Tony
playmaking
is
stuff.
sick of that. Have you noticed how Tony plays very similar to how Harry Kane played for Spurs? He drops back, makes diagonal passes, crosses the ball. He creates chances, man. Tony is, I think, what people are going to see when he signs, let's say for a big club, like whether it's Arsenal, Man United, or something like that, or even I read that that Bayern Munich are are looking at him also potentially as like I doubt he would go to play behind Kane, but um, I think you are going to see a much more refined player than people know, because I think Brentford's style and system limits his capabilities, because I think he's, I honestly, I mean, the other thing I love about him, man, great penalty taker, love that, always takes the penalties, and a very good free kick taker. So he's a
Yeah,
very, I think he's a very well-rounded player. I really do. I think yeah, I think he's perfect for Arsenal. I really do. I really hope that will
yeah,
sign.
you can have him. I would have Vlahovic, and recently I was
But
reading
here's my key issue to you. The main difference. He has Prem experience, Elias. Vlahovic might look amazing in Serie A.
to be honest, Stefan, there are other players as well that Spurs have bought. They have prem experience. Like Richarlison was a prem experience player.
Yeah,
You
but
have Brendan
Richarlison
Johnson.
was shit
I know, I
anything
know, I know, I
bad.
know, I know. No, actually, the season when we bought him, he had a good previous season for Everton, and he even the 2 seasons that he had for Everton those times, they were 2 good seasons, and we bought him. The problem with me, I don't know why somehow the prem proven players don't turn up very well at Spurs. Like Richarlison is one example. You have Brendan Johnson, another one. You have kind of like Timo Werner is more or less a prem proven player or
He's not a
prem
no.
experienced
He's
player.
proven to not be good enough for the Prem. That's what Timo Werner has
Yeah,
proven.
but prem players somehow don't turn out well at Spurs. I think that when we buy players from other clubs of Europe, like when we buy players from Italy, when we buy players from Germany, I think they turn out to be much better than the one
I
that
would
we actually buy
say,
from Prem Pro.
look, if you look at Paratici's record, I know people want to, praise him and stuff, but it's very mixed. Yes, he's made some successful signings in Van de Ven. The Romero one, I still think it's not success, because if you look at some of the
It's
stats
a
about,
successful signing.
no, why? He's missed over
You look at you
40%
look
of your game. He's missed over 40% of your games. You conceded the most amount of goals last season with him there, in terms, I think, in the
no,
Premier League.
no,
Yes,
no.
yes, it
No,
was the worst.
have you seen the ratio of the games where we conceded goals with Romero and without
Okay,
Romero?
okay,
There's a
okay.
big difference there.
Okay. Well, this season he's played a lot and you barely keep clean sheets. That's all I'm gonna say. He's played a lot and you rarely keep clean sheets.
What you talking about?
He misses too many games for you to say that he's a really successful. He's missed over. Everybody says Thomas Partey is super injury prone, which I agree. Thomas Partey, since he got to Arsenal, has missed around 32, I think 33% of the games. Romero has missed 47 or 48%, I read, of the games that since he's been to
This
Spurs.
season, this season,
This season he's missed, I think he's missed 4 games this year, no? Oh, wait, he's missed 3 games because he got
five
injured.
games. He has missed
Yeah,
5 games. Yes,
yeah,
five
and
games.
then he missed another 2 or 3 because he was injured for a month. So he's either suspended, he's injured. So that's why I can't say. Van de Ven, I would say he's looking really good at the moment, but let's see him like do 1 year, then the second year. That's like, for example, Ben White has had
Actually,
2 years.
Stefan, the games where he started, there
Which were
are
what?
about he in total he has considered like 16 goals. Romero this season has considered 16 goals
Okay. I'm just
in
saying,
in 16 starts. So it's like one goal a game. I don't think it's a bad
it's
stat.
it's the same thing. Like, I think Partey has been a successful signing, but I can't say that fully because he's injured too much, Elias. When he plays, he loses most of the time. He's really good, but then he's always injured, man. But Romero is 15% more in terms of like the games he's missed compared to
Yeah,
Partey.
but then you have to see that as a center back, you need to have the partnership as well. And I think when he is with Van de Ven, his record has been great. He doesn't make the
Does
rash
Van
tackles.
Dyke wait? If he's a top defender, does Van Dyke need a partner to look really good? No, he makes. Van Dyke played with one of the
But Van
worst
Dijk is a
defenders.
different type of a defender. You can't always put somebody. You can't like
Quality
compare.
is quality,
Two.
Elias. If you're amazing, if you're a top
Okay,
player, you make
if
others
okay,
look good.
let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question. If let's say you were to put like Van Dijk in a back three, would you put Van Dijk on the right side or would you put him in the center?
I don't care. Van Dyke, I would put anywhere because I know
No,
Van Dyke is
I know,
quality.
I know, I know. But let's say you have Van Dijk, you have let's say someone like
Saliba, that's another player.
Konate, or Saliba. Let's say who would you put in the middle of the back three?
If we're talking about progressing the play, I think Saliba on the ball Uh, they're all really good on the ball, man. Both Konate. I would say Saliba's a bit tidier than Konate on the ball. I think he's a bit more secure. I still would put Van Dijk in the middle, man. I
Yeah,
think
Van
Van
Dijk in
Dijk.
the middle
And,
because he is that kind of very composed player who can actually
but again,
lead the back.
that's a very
Like I wouldn't put Romero in a center of a back three. Like let's say if
why though
Spurs
he
are,
played. I think didn't he play at Atalanta before he came at in the center of a back three? Elias, wasn't
I think
that
he
the
was
whole?
good, but I don't like him in the center. I think he's more good at playing in the wide areas.
I'm telling you. Next year, you're gonna be question. Spurs fans are gonna say, should we sell him because he's either not reliable enough, the same way we do with Partey, which is he's a great player, but he's not reliable enough, he's not available enough, or he's a liability
They
because
already Spurs fans were saying that they're kind of deluded ones who say that actually. I
why
think
are they
I think
deluded?
Romero
Elias,
they are
you
deluded.
cannot
They're
if
deluded.
you want to be a
No, you
top
need to
club.
see the difference that he makes compared to the rest of the back
Yes, but
line. Like
Elias,
why?
he's missed almost half of your game since he's come here. No matter how good he is, that's not acceptable if you want to be a top club.
Yeah, by
If
the
you
way,
look at
Stefan,
yeah,
let me say hi to a few people. First of
yeah.
all, big up to Sanchez Bethnal Green. It's been a long time. I think I haven't seen him since I stopped streaming. And big up to Sarah. Good to see you. And Sarah is saying Eric Dyer is better than Saliba. 100% he is. Bayern Munich would never come for Saliba. They went
Of
for
course
Eric
they
Dyer.
wouldn't. Look, Eric Dyer was in the Sporting Lisbon's reserves when Saliba started playing, professional football for Marseille and for Arsenal. So
I
let's
thought
pump the
I thought it
brakes.
was slightly after that.
I think Eric Dyer was signed when he was like 21, I think, 22. Saliba's
21 or
currently, I
22,
think,
yeah.
21, and he's already played one full season in the Premier League.
Let me see.
Played a full season in the French league with Marseille before that. So yeah, they're like what Saliba just to compare. When Van Dijk was 21, he was in the Groningen reserves. Okay, FC Groningen, which is one of
Yeah.
the worst teams in Holland. Like he wasn't even in the starting team for Groningen. So just to compare where Saliba is currently to where Van Dijk was at that age. So Saliba's trajectory is quite scary in terms of
No,
where
100% agree. But if somebody tells me that he's better than Romero, no, I won't take that. Uh,
I think he's better than Romero for one main reason, Elias, and I'll tell you what: temperament. Romero makes
that's the I
moronic
agree. I
decisions.
agree. But I agree with you that he's better than Romero at the temperament. But I won't say that he is technically as good as Romero in like his
What?
abilities to. Yeah, he's not
No,
in terms
if
of
you're
his
talking
aerials.
about,
In terms
it
of his
depends what you're
aerials. In
talking
terms of
about. Wait,
his
wait, wait. It depends what you're talking about. On the ball,
okay. In terms
there's no
on the
better.
ball, yeah, he's not better than Romero on the ball. Romero is a
Come
great
on,
baller.
man. Saliba is.
Have you
Oh, just because Romero holds it up and plays it forward doesn't mean he's good technically on the ball. What I'm
then
talking
what does
I'll
on
tell
the
you what.
meaning good on the ball means?
I'll tell you what. Watch both of them play under pressure. Watch Saliba the way he maneuvers the ball under pressure from players pressing him, and the way he literally dribbles himself out of pressing, just like Van Dijk does, compared to what Romero does. Romero does have a nice pass through the lines, but Romero, once you put him under pressure, he's nowhere near as good on the ball as Saliba or as Van Dijk. Konate is very similar to Romero, which is he's got a great pass through the lines, but when you put pressure on Konate, he's nowhere near as good on the ball as Saliba is so nimble, man. Saliba is, don't get me wrong, I think our Gabriel Magalhaes is a better pure defender. If you're asking me like tackling, heading the ball, like just pure old school
Nah,
defending.
he isn't better than Romero. Are you telling me that
No,
Gabriel
no,
is
no,
better
no.
than
I'm
Romero?
telling you, Gabriel is better than Saliba in pure defending, like pure defending.
Yeah, he
Maybe
is. He's
Romero is better than Saliba in like maybe tackling, but Saliba, the difference
no,
between
he's better. He's better than in aerials as well. He's
okay,
good at
but
aerials.
I watch Saliba, and the way he plays reminds me a lot of Van Dijk, which is he never looks out of position. He never dives into a tackle because
The problem with this debate is that I've done this many times as well. I think it really depends on the two systems that both of them plays. I think Saliba fits perfectly in the way currently Arsenal is playing with
look,
your
Saliba, as we said, great players can play in any system. Messi can play in any system. Cristiano Ronaldo can play. Yes, some systems might be more effective for their skills, Elias, but the top elite players and world class players make a difference in any system. And I think Saliba and Van Dijk, for example, can play in any system. Like they can
Same
be
does
good.
so does Romero. He has played in our Argentinian
I
system
mean,
quite
I
well. With
saw
Eric
him
Dyer
last
quite well.
year. Last year in the system with Eric Dyer, he didn't make Eric Dyer look better. He looked off. He looked awful last year. He was
Yeah,
awful.
because the middle is usually the middle person in the back three who actually makes the difference. In the wide areas, we were good.
Yeah, but dude, you
I think with
cannot keep
Romero.
making these excuses. So you can shit on Eric Dyer
Yeah,
when
but
a team.
he was not playing all the season with Eric Dyer as well. There were
Yeah,
times
but
when Eric
what I'm
Dyer was out.
saying is,
He
no,
was
I'm
playing with
saying is,
Sanchez and Emerson Royale, and
no, I
he
get
has
it, I
the
get it, though, dude, I get it. But like, Spurs fans can always have their little favorites. Like, like last night, we had the show, and everybody was raving about, Hoiberg is terrible and Skip was bad. Nobody said anything about Bentancur being a complete.
Bentancur is not bad. Like, come on, bro. He has only played like three
I'm
games.
sorry, Elias. In the FA Cup game, he was a complete passenger. Skip, who came on, who how much I rate Skip. I think he's awful. Skip had more of an effect on the game in the last 10, 15 minutes, making those runs, maybe winning a ball or something, than Bentancur had in 70 minutes. And this isn't the first time. This isn't the first time where Bentancur. Yeah, but that's a massive issue.
It's
I'll
not a
give you
massive issue.
a
Okay,
massive issue.
you look at defenders. You look at defenders. You look at Pepe Defensa, the guy who I think now praised for sport. Porto is he with Porto now? Pepe Defensa.
Yeah, okay, the former Real Madrid defender, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
and then you have players like Sergio Ramos. If you look at all the traditional defenders, they were
Mhm.
all this kind of defenders, like big
Yeah, no,
headed, who
Ramos,
used
I
to pick up a
agree.
lot of
Ramos,
red.
Ramos was
Ramos,
bad.
even Pepe as well. Even Pepe as
Yeah,
well.
but
He was a hot
Romero, I'm
headed.
telling you, I want you now to just don't. You can say I'm biased. I want you to watch the next 3 games, and I want you to focus on Romero. Every single game, he does one or two things, moronic things that can affect the game. Because as you know, in the Premier League and in the biggest of games against the best teams, it's very fine margins. I'll give you one example, and you can tell me I'm picking and stuff. There was one moment, I think it was around the 75th minute. It was 0-0. And one of the things that everybody outlined was that Man City are very dangerous on set pieces, and Spurs are a bit small, so they could be. So there was a Man City player who was going towards the sideline in terms of he had the ball. Okay, so all Romero needed to do was just shield him and close him up.
I know
Not,
you brought it up last night as well,
yeah,
and
and,
my
and
reply.
and what he did was he just so he can tackle like an idiot, no thought. He went around him and tackled him in a way somehow, and it went for a corner. Ilias, that can easily lead to a moment where they score and they win the game easily. This is what I mean.
Either way, if he doesn't tackle, also if it goes into the box, and you have De
No. The
Bruyne
guy was
there.
the guy was shielding the ball. He was waiting for support from his left back or to pass back. There was no danger whatsoever. He had no need to make that tackle. Another example, the 90th minute, I said it yesterday also. You're chasing the game. Man City are looking for any excuse to kill the momentum of the game or slow the game down. The guy is running towards the touchline. It's obvious he's not trying to attack. I think it was Doku. Okay? He's not trying to attack the box. Romero, instead of going there and trying to kind of shield and get the ball in a controlled manner, so then he either gets a throw in, which there's more of a chance you get the ball back quicker. He runs and rams him and kills. Doku starts lying down, faking pain, killing 30 to 45 seconds, and then Man City pass the ball into the corner and kill another 30 seconds. And you've lost literally a minute and a half, 2 minutes almost. And not only that, you have no momentum in terms of it's in your own final third for the last minute and a half. Why? Because Romero does a stupid foul, like he always does when you're losing at the end of the game.
Yeah, but
Always.
I think it's more of a domino effect thing, because he doesn't know what's going to happen from there onwards as well. I understand that, yes, it's more of like something happens and then you say due to that another thing happened and then you blame on a player. I don't think
I
that
don't blame.
necessarily
I
can
don't blame.
play.
I don't blame him. I started to. I'm saying you asked me why I don't rate him as highly as a Van Dijk or a Saliba. Saliba and
Okay,
Van Dijk do not do these stupid decisions. They do not. They just don't. They're much more calm and
are you
composed.
sure that Saliba has never done something like this?
I don't remember the last time. Like I'm telling you, every game he does something stupid. Like, or for example, I think it was against, was it the Forest game? I forgot which game. He could have easily gotten a red card. There are some games where he does a stupid tackle that everybody's like, "Why are you doing that tackle?" You could have easily gotten a red card, or he does something stupid in terms of he does that tackle where it leads to a corner. My point is that these little things start to build up, and then next time he does that stupid thing from the free kick or from the corner that he needlessly gave away, they're gonna score a goal and beat you, or they're gonna or they're gonna cost him, or he'll get a red card. Do you get what I'm trying to say? That's why I think Van de Ven is better than him. I do, because Van de Ven, for me, a defender needs to be
Yeah, I
calm.
think I think Van de Ven is better overall as a defender. Van de Ven is more composed. I like Van de Ven, and I
Yeah,
think
I like
I
Van de
would
Ven
say that
also. I like Van de Ven also.
given his age, his composure, the way he makes his run, I actually rate Van de Ven higher than
No,
Romero.
and you know what? And Van de Ven, I thought, played much better than him against Man City yesterday.
Oh, he
And
does. He did.
yeah,
Van
I
de
think
Ven, I
he
think,
played
was
better.
class. Van de Ven was
But
class.
and I'm not saying Romero's a bad player. Everybody, harps on about this. I'm not. I just, for me, temperament. That's my opinion. Temperament in a defender is very, very important, because, in my opinion,
I
if you have,
think from your perspective, you rate players with a good temperament, but I
yeah,
like to see players who are good with tackles, who can
no,
win the
I
ball very
agree.
cleanly
You
with
always,
tackles,
yeah,
who
you
dispossess the opponent.
no, you always need that fire in every team. But in my
Yeah.
opinion, I
I
think
think for me, the priority is more on that rather than the temperament. So maybe
but
that's why I rate Romero higher.
here's I'm gonna ask you a question. Here's where I think it's a bit so, in my opinion, the two positions where I need a calm and composed player, the two most important positions, that if they're not calm and composed, if they're jittery, and I'll give you examples, are center back and goalkeeper. If you have a jittery goalkeeper, a nervous one, or a nervous or an anxious center back like Romero is, because his
Romero is not
natural,
an anxious. Sorry. Romero is not an
okay,
anxious center back.
not
I
anxious,
would say
rash,
he's ambitious.
rash,
He's sometimes over
rash,
ambitious.
rash. Would you agree he's rash?
No,
He's
he's not
rash.
rash. He's not
He's not.
rash.
He's
Come
not
on.
overly. He's not overly aggressive.
He's
He doesn't
aggressive,
jump.
yeah.
Okay,
Okay,
he
he's
doesn't jump.
overly aggressive. Okay, maybe he's overly aggressive, yes.
Okay, he doesn't jump into tackles needlessly a lot. He does. He just tackles
Sometimes
for.
yes, sometimes
Okay.
yes. Yeah, he takes
Okay.
he takes those 50% chances quite a lot now.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna give you an example, right? Man United, they have a really jittery, make stupid decisions all the time, goalkeeper in Onana. What that causes is the whole team, especially his back line, starts to get really nervous. And they also make mistakes because they don't know what their goalkeeper is going to do. I would argue Romero doing those needless tackles, it might pump up the team from time to time, but it might also create chaos in terms of he might miss a tackle, get red carded. He might make a stupid decision, build up pressure. That's what I mean. His way of playing and their way of playing, there's high risk and maybe there's high reward also, because he might win a tackle that will lead to a counterattack and you score. But
Exactly.
he also might not time his tackle perfectly, miss the player, get a red card, or do what he did against Man City, which is give away a corner against a team that is super good on set pieces and that is way bigger than you, and create nervousness within the team. That's my
Well,
point.
that's not the only set piece that we gave to them. We gave them a lot of other set
I
pieces as well
know, but
throughout the
Elias, you
yeah.
get what I'm trying to say? Like, yes, it didn't lead to a goal in that moment, but it might lead to another, because another stupid decision he might make. Like, for example, Brentford. I'm telling you right now, if he fouls stupidly against Brentford outside the edge of the area, Brentford cannot wait, because Brentford are way big. If you think Man City are big, Brentford are way bigger than you. And Brentford set piece taking is awesome. And now they have Tony back also. So,
Although
for
I
me,
disagree with that.
that's yeah.
I don't think that they'll have a good threat these couple of days. I think
I guarantee
they'll
you,
be shaky.
I guarantee you against Brentford.
Because they are missing their key players as well. I don't think that's
No, but they're missing Embuemo, who's good on the counter. Embuemo's not a physical. He's not a winning headers type of player. He's a runner. He's a winger. So for me, they're gonna focus.
Visa is also not playing right for them.
Yeah, I think he's at AFCON, I think.
Yeah,
So,
he's
yeah.
also at AFCON. So definitely
So,
both of their wingers are not there.
no,
By the way, guys, I think there's 4 5 of you down there in the chat. Make sure you guys hit the like and subscribe. We will move on to the next topic,
which is
which is what was that actually? Yeah, guys, what guys? Let me know your thoughts in the chat as well. Have you all heard the news? Actually, Marcus Rashford was caught partying, and he actually called in sick or something like that, and then he was caught partying at some, where was it, in Belfort?
yeah, he went to, supposedly he went to do like one of his former youth teammates plays in Belfast, so he went to, I think, support him or something in some sort of charity event or something that he was doing. I'm not sure. And
Neither are we, Ron. So let's.
yeah, yeah, Ron likes to
We are as shit as them, I think.
okay, I mean, if you can say that, but so he supposedly he went to Belfast, and it was fine if you went clubbing on Wednesday, because on Thursday they had a day off. But the problem was, he stayed in Belfast, went clubbing, and then from what I read, came back to Manchester around 7 a.m. and then called in sick because he had training, I think, from 9 a.m. And he called in that he was sick, but the idiot didn't realize that he went to a club where people have cameras, where people have phones, that they can, immediately catch him out.
I saw the pictures, by the way. Yeah.
I mean, I'm gonna be honest. Like, see, this is what I tell Connor all the time. This is what Arteta changed, and that's why Arsenal is so much better for the long term.
Are you sure? Are you sure?
Yeah,
Your
yeah,
players
yeah.
have
I'll
this kind of
tell you what.
standards as well.
Arteta removed all the prima donnas at our club that weren't fully committed, that were soft, just like at Spurs. Just like Stella told you yesterday. When it gets down to the nitty and gritty and to the grind, Spurs choke. You lose in the
Yeah,
final.
but we hardly have this kind of discipline issues. Actually, our players, in terms
What are
of, I
you
think,
talking about? You hardly
professionalism,
have this. What do you mean?
this
Like,
kind of issues. This kind of issues. Last time, I think we had this kind of issues was,
no,
I
you
think, when
have. I would say your culture is different because Man United is much bigger than Spurs. Arsenal, it was also similar where we would sign some big time players that weren't very committed. So like Ozil, for example, or Aubameyang, who was a club captain and was always. So how do you think, like, just think of the culture of the dressing room. If one of the most important players, the highest paid player in the dressing room, okay, does this, what do you think what do you think the dressing room? How does this, how does this look to the Man United? They're thinking, oh, if the best player can get away with this or can do this, then it's okay for us. It's okay for us to be unprofessional. It's okay for us to be, to act like this because he's doing it. So once we get up to
is
that
Marcus
level,
Rashford their most expensive sign?
he's their highest paid player. He's their highest
I
paid
thought
player.
it's Casemiro. No.
No, he's their after he signed the new deal in the summer. He's paid
Oh, okay.
350K, and De Gea left. De Gea was their highest paid player. He left,
See.
so it's right. But not only that, just look at what that culture has done to players that have moved on. I don't know if you read. I don't know if you know their center midfielder. They had a young center midfielder called Hannibal Madri. Have you remember it with
Yep.
the big curly hair?
Yep.
Well,
I know.
he went on loan to Sevilla. Okay, they signed him 1 week ago. He was dropped outside of the matchday squad, and supposedly because he was late and had a fight with one of the players in his first training sessions. This is the culture that is created at Man United. That is why they're so shit. That is why they're so soft, because the leaders in their dressing room are not good professionals, and that is exhibited into their play and into their, most importantly, the young players like a Kobe Mainu, like all these players that come in, they see these
I
things.
think I get where you're coming from. I think the problem with Spurs is slightly different.
No, with you guys is different. Yeah,
At Spurs we just lack that ambition, I would say. Sorry,
no, what you lack is winning culture, Elias. What you lack is
yeah,
you
which
lose
we
a
lack.
game.
But
No,
we don't tolerate those kind of issues like what you're describing. For example, we had Ndombele who had
you
this,
do.
this
What do you mean?
reputation.
And how many coaches tried to reintegrate Ndombele into the team,
But
including
nobody has given him like more than 2 or 3 games actually a
no, but
season.
I'm
Nobody.
telling you this, Man City
No,
after
even
the
Jack Spence had issues. We didn't tolerate him. We got rid of him when he was starting to
yeah,
have
you
those
got
issues.
rid of
And
him by
Dombele was
sending.
one.
I mean,
Dele Ali, when he was having issues, okay, at first that
you
when he
tolerated
used to
him.
be good,
You tolerated him
we
for 2
tolerated him
years.
for a while. We tolerated him for a while, yes. But as soon as we didn't need him, actually we got rid of him.
Okay, but look at just and that's why I'm impressed with Arteta because he had balls when he came in. He didn't say I'm gonna give Ndombele a chance in preseason. He said, Ozil, you're gone. That's it. I don't care if you're the highest paid player. You're not in the matchday squad again. Aubameyang, you won the Golden Boot 2 years ago. You're always late. You're never accountable. You're a club captain. You're not a good representative for everybody. And I can tell you, I'm gonna tell you this. The same way Hannibal Medri for Man United turned into an asshole because of the dress. I would blame the dressing room because they didn't show him the principles of being a professional. I would blame the Man United dressing room, of course, every person. But the same way Guendouzi, who came into Arsenal, was a very talented player. The same way he went to shit because of the fact that he saw Aubameyang, he saw Ozil. They weren't the most professional. They weren't the most committed. And that gave him the leeway and the space to say, oh, I'm playing really well now. I can get away with being late, with being a prick, with being this. And for me, that is what Arteta has changed. That is what Arteta is. Everybody is accountable. Everybody's a good guy. I'm not saying you need good guys, but everybody is professional. If you read the way,
I think same at Spurs currently right now as well.
I don't know. Arteta, I don't think so because if you look at Spurs,
Who at Spurs do you think have this kind of problems, or
you've never had these kind of problems, but like it's never been as prevalent as on Arsenal or Man United. But what you have is,
I mean, during that time, we
no,
used
what you have is, and it's exhibited.
Lloris was drunk driving a couple of years ago.
No,
and
that
then
happens. Like that's not the big. But I think what you have is, and it's exhibited in your fan base. Maybe not so much from Stel, but it's exhibited in your fan base, and that I think naturally goes into the team and vice versa. Don't
generalize.
Which is we lost.
fan
No,
base.
I'll give you an example. We lost the game, but it's okay because we played good football. This is what I think is the biggest problem at Spurs, which is playing good football trumps everything, including winning things. Like, for example, Elias, if Conte and Mourinho played that game against Man City and had one shot the whole game, they would have been crucified, Elias. They would have been absolutely crucified.
That's something they do. But even those people who actually crucified Conte and Mourinho, they crucified Ange as well.
No, but why? But why were they? But why were they crucified? Because they played boring football. Don't get me wrong. I agree. I don't
think that we played boring football under Conte.
You played bad. Come on.
I don't think we played boring football. I think it's just that
you played.
That's my problem. Actually, I like the counter-attacking football when Conte used to
like watching.
Yeah, I liked Conte's ball actually at the time when Son and Kane used to combine and the time when we were scoring 4 or 5 goals in a game from counter attack. I enjoyed that period.
Okay, yeah, okay. I mean, okay, yeah, okay. So you're more about the end result rather than the style of play, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, but you're different, Elias. If you listen to your fan base, they really
like who?
Just the general, like, let's say
name them, and
okay.
On this channel, I don't care.
No,
name them.
Okay, no, it's not. I'm not scared today, but like the way Stel names AFTV is a generalized view of the typical Arsenal fan, which I disagree. The same way I can name all the most popular. Like if you watch Last Word on Spurs, or you
they are idiots. They are idiots.
Yeah,
I don't associate with them also.
Yeah, but Elias, but they're still one.
Have you ever seen me with Last Word on Spurs or even in their chat?
No, I'm not, Elias. I'm not telling you. I'm telling you that I would say because they're so popular, they generate an opinion that is quite popular. With the other one, Fighting Cock, they're even more like they lose, but they don't care because Ange plays good football. So what?
These are all typical Levy lovers. Actually, I can tell you with evidence actually that most of them have like indirect links in clubs. Like they get paid by club. They get paid by club to actually put on certain narratives. Like people like Chris Collin is obvious. Like they have links in clubs.
But come on, let's be honest. If you look at the old school Spurs fans, and I watched the Amazon documentary, All or Nothing, and you listen to some of their interviews. Their number one thing is even when we were crap, we still played well. Like under Ozzy Ardiles, where you played with 5 attackers, I think, even though you would lose 6-3 to Liverpool or something like that. Like you'd always, you take pride in the fact that in the 1950s, you came up with the push and run concept, which was a new way of attacking. So I think this has been embedded as like kind of this insecurity around not winning trophies. So you're like, okay, we're not gonna win shit anyways. Let's just at least play good football. But I think that has been also being crystallized and diffused into the players themselves. So what the players do is, oh, we lost, we got out of the FA Cup. It's okay, next year maybe. There's no accountability with it. There's no ambition. There's no there's and Arsenal have lost that also over the last 10 years because we haven't competed for a league, I would say, since '08, since '07, '08, like truly compete for a league. And I would say we've lost that competitiveness. We lost it under Wenger, where the key was to get into top four because we had a stadium to pay for. And that culture is very difficult to rebuild for a big club. Look at Man United, to rebuild that type of Ferguson, winning everything, it's very difficult to rebuild. And Spurs need to build it. That's the biggest issue. And the more I see from Ange, the more I see how much he kisses Levy's ass. I'm certain that Ange did not want Manor Solomon. I'm certain he did not want Timo Werner. I'm certain. But because I think Ange, from what I read, I think he's all about, creating a family atmosphere at the club. He's not an antagonist like a Mourinho. Like the moment Mourinho or Conte, especially Conte, don't get what they want.
Yeah, but that's his personality, I would say, not so
No,
much
but
so of
that's his
like his ambition.
personality. That's his personality also. But the problem is that Levy, looking at his history, Poch was similar until he finally, the last season that he got fired, he broke. He's like, don't call me a manager. I remember. No, don't call me a manager. Call me a coach. He lost it. He dealt with Levy. He was nice with him, but even he had like a red line that he could. And I think Levy's gonna exploit that. I don't think he's gonna, he's gonna fully back him because he knows Ange. For Ange, the most important thing is squad harmony rather than what Conte did, giving interviews and shit.
Yeah, but then definitely if you for some managers it's a different style of management. Some managers they are very hard on your players. They try to motivate players by the rough attitude.
Yeah.
And like when you like tease them, they want the team to be united against the manager and prove the manager wrong in a way. Some managers have that kind of managing style as well.
No,
Some managers they try to create a good bond between the players and then play with using that bond and that understanding that the team has. So I guess there are pros and cons in both.
I'm not talking about how he deals with the players. That's different. I'm talking about how he deals with the board. The moment Mourinho or Conte especially don't get what they want, they start complaining in the media. They start doing passive aggressive shots through the interviews whenever they would lose. That's what I mean. And for example, when Spurs signed Jet Spence, Conte threw him under the bus. He's like, this is a club signing, which basically tells you I don't want him. So that's what I mean. That's the difference between, and I worry the way Levy is, the way he's operated over the last 24 years. I agree with Stella on this. The moment he sees that a coach is like this, because let's be honest, Ange is thinking, I'm pretty lucky to get this job. Like I'm almost 60 years old. This is the biggest job I've ever had. I'm not going to act
But
like...
he's not doing a bad job there as well.
No, he's not. I'm not saying he is. He's not. He's doing well. He's doing very well. But what I'm saying is that Ange won't rock the boat because he knows this is his biggest job to date. Mourinho and Conte came into the job.
I think Stefan, if Ange goes to like bigger clubs as well, you'll see him coming in as well, coming out as well.
But
because
again,
currently it is one of his biggest jobs that he has ever done in his career.
No, it's not one of his. It's the biggest job.
It's the biggest job, exactly, right?
But that's my point. That's perfect because then Ange can go to him and say, "Listen, man, don't tell me I want these players. Don't tell me which players I need to sign. I was the coach of Real Madrid. I was the coach of Inter. I won the Italian league. I won the Premier League with Chelsea. Much bigger clubs than you. Okay? Don't tell me what I need as a coach." Ange can't do that. Ange can go up to him and tell him, "Listen."
Yeah, I think once demand of Ange gets into the market, like let's say bigger clubs are coming for him. Like let's say if Liverpool were linked with him, and if like let's say other European clubs were looking for him, I think then you'll see Ange doing that as well. But currently, it's not the situation.
Ron is completely right. Poch broke, and you could see that in the squad.
Exactly.
the squad knew that in the last
I
year.
think like you see here, Poch was similar to Edge in the at the beginning of his career. He was very lovey-dovey with Levy, and they used to go on
I mean,
holidays
to be
together.
honest, let's be honest. What Poch did and how patient he was to not get anybody signed for 2 years, I think Poch was. I honestly, that documentary in some ways was a disgrace. The way they did Poch in the documentary, as if he was nothing. The way they just skipped over him in the like, it was like in the first 10 minutes of the first episode, and then they fired him, and there was no like tribute what he did for the club. It was an absolute disgrace in my opinion. What the way they handled Poch, especially, and then they just focused on Mourinho. Mourinho was the star of the documentary and stuff like that. So that was a disgrace. But Poch, if you go watch his interviews from the last year, I remember him saying that you can build a really nice house, but you need the right furniture also. So there were little passive aggressive shots. Poch was fed up, and I think that was exhibited through the squad. That's why your form, I know you went on the run to the Champions League, but your league form, especially your away form, was horrendous. I remember you didn't win an away game for a year or something that year.
Which one?
For
The Poch? Yeah,
yeah,
that
for
year.
almost a year.
Yeah, but again, I think the problem with that one also was it was like Pot's biggest opportunity ever that he had in his career also. And then now it's similar with Ange. Like in the beginning, Poch was like how Ange is right now, is a working process and all that blah 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 shit. And then in the end, when he was not given what he wanted, he actually broke. So I
No,
think
but
it's gonna eventually happen to Ange as well. It's nothing to do with
he's a
Ange's
nice. The
ambition.
thing with the difference between this is, I'm gonna tell you, Ange reminds me. I've said this the most. Reminds me, literally, he's carbon copy Harry Redknapp. He came in the same situation when the club is in complete turmoil. They had lost a number of big time players. They had some really talented players, but the squad was broken. The squad was, he was kind of a hire that was completely out of the blue. Nobody like rated the hire or anything like that. Just like Ange, there was no expectations. But what he did was he rebuilt the squad. He was a great man manager, just like Ange is. And then he got
I
them.
think it's gonna happen the same
No,
thing
but
with
no, but
Ange.
let me look. He got them to the Champions League. Your first time, I think it was 2010 or 2011, the first time you were in the Champions League. Harry Redknapp achieved that. Okay. Harry Redknapp did that. And what happened? Because Harry Redknapp was a really nice guy, in the end, Levy's ruthless. The first blip in Harry Redknapp's career, he fired him. And
Nobody
Ange is gonna
disagrees.
be,
Nobody disagrees with that. Levy's
no,
ruthless.
but Ange is gonna be the same. I predict, I'm telling you right
That's
now.
what I'm saying. I think Ange for now, it's not that he lacks ambition. Right now he's just testing the water. When it reaches a certain extent, he's actually gonna give up as well. Uh okay, there's a comment. Oh, Jonna is saying, okay, I'm gonna say something right now. You can't compare Arteta to Edge. Arteta worked under Pep. He know the Premier League. Edge for a first year of Premier League is doing a bad job. Yeah, I agree with that. I don't think Stefan disagree with that either.
No, you can't. What I'm saying is I think it's gonna go the same way, which is with Levy, it doesn't work. It does being nice. He starts to exploit it. He starts to use it against you, and in the end, there is no sort of loyalty with Levy. I mean, he fired Poch in his first difficult spell, a guy who literally took you again. You were down in the dumps, pretty much. Okay, you were. I think you with Village Boas, you really struggled, and then he came. He took you from that to finishing second for the first time, I think, since the 60s. First time since the 60s or 70s. I don't remember the last time you finished second. He did all of that, helped you rebuild the stadium, didn't moan or whatever for 2 years when you didn't sign him a player. And then the first moment that he has a difficult spell, you fire him. You're not loyal to him. Liverpool, when Klopp went through that spell where they lost 5 or 6 games in a row at Anfield, when they had all the injuries, Liverpool didn't fire him. Last season, Liverpool could have fired Klopp because they didn't get Champions League football, and their squad completely went down. Okay, they finished 5th or I think 6th. I don't remember. They didn't fire him. That, for me, is why I'm worried for Ange, which is his style of football is great, but it's really, really hard to maintain for 3 days, every 3 days when you start getting Europe. And I think he's going to have a similar run next year to the way Newcastle are and to the way Brighton is. Not because you don't have good players, but because you don't have a deep enough squad to replace the players. Because Madison is injury prone. He will get injured because he's going to have to play like this every 3 days. He'll get injured. All Romero will get injured because history shows with these players that they will get injured. Just like with Arsenal and Partey, Tomiyasu, Zinchenko. There are injury prone. Tierney before they will get injured. Their history shows that they will get injured once the intensity of the games start to roll in. And so I worry that the moment Ange, and the thing I've noticed with him, one of the criticisms I've said is that he doesn't have any other way of playing. He doesn't adapt whatsoever based on the players he has. He won't adapt. He will start to lose because the replacements are just not as good. They won't be. And Levy will axe him. And because he always does. He's ruthless. He has no loyalty. And and Ange can talk about, that he wanted Timo Werner. He wanted that he wanted Manor Solomon. Can you imagine if Timo Werner or Manor Solomon were signed under Conte? 100% Conte, they'll ask him about Manor Solomon. He would have said it's another club signing. 100%. Because it's free, because it's
yeah, I think Manor Solomon and Timo Werner are more okay. Timo Werner one, I'm kind of like 50-50 because there were certain links between him and Werner, like he spoke to him on a phone call or something like that. So I'm slightly 50-50 on that Levy maybe told him that yes, there's a player and what do you think? And yeah, it's
no, he probably Ange went to him and listened, like, I need another winger because Kulusevski isn't fast enough to play right wing, and Brennan Johnson
something like that.
Brennan Johnson isn't fully ready to start game after game. He just doesn't look fully ready. And Levy's like, okay, we can't pay big money for a big signing.
Wow. This is embarrassing.
What?
This is embarrassing.
No way. Brentford signed him?
This is embarrassing. Imagine Antonio Nusa were to start against us. Let me just see if it's true or not. Yes, Brentford have just reached an agreement with Club Brugge to sign Antonio Nusa, deal in place for free in excess of 30 million package.
They have
green light ready.
Elias, they have a big advantage over Spurs. They have a Scandinavian coach and a history of signing Scandinavian players that they give.
Yeah, but never mind. I think he's not starting against us in
No, he's not starting, but I'll be really surprised if he moves to Brentford over you guys.
Yeah, but I'm like seriously shocked. I think it's gonna be a fee issue probably because it's 30 million excess. I don't think Levy was willing to pay 30 million euros for him. So it makes sense to us.
This is the other thing where I would say Arsenal differs greatly, and where that's why I like Arteta. Arteta wants Prem experience, man. He rarely signs players from outside the Premier League, especially now. Whilst you guys,
yeah, but Stefan, for us, the players who we sign outside of Prem, they've worked out well. Like you look at
I agree. No, Vicario.
You look at Udogie. You look at Pedro Porro. You look at
Porro. Still, I know people are raving about
I showed you the stats yesterday, by the way.
I get he's played well over the last 2-3 months, but let's not forget last season he was awful. So like, it's not like he's being.
Yeah, it was his first season in a different
okay, let's see if he can continue this form. I'm still not convinced based on his defensive abilities. So yeah, let's see. But Udogie, I agree. Udogie looks really good. Udogie does have some weaknesses which I think he can fix, but yeah, he looks really good. Udogie, I think the thing that he needs to work on is his defensive awareness. Sometimes he's out of position, especially when they do long balls over the top with him. But he's very good. He looks like a really good player. So that's a good signing. That's a very good signing. But then you can look at all the other Paratici signings. You can look at the shit second keeper.
Madison. Okay, Madison was Prem Pro one. Yeah,
I wouldn't say
player.
Madison is a Paratici signing. I would say Madison is a pure opportunity signing. Like you have a player who was a top player.
No, he's a Paratici signing because we were looking at him for quite a while actually. Like for a long time we've been looking at him. But when the opportunity came, we signed him. We were looking at him for a long time, and that time his price tag was like 65 million. When it went down, we went for it.
Like Ron, why are you like? Why? He's a guy who comes from the Belgium league. They won 40 million for a guy. You don't know.
I was never excited about this signing, to be honest.
No, he looks. Don't get me wrong. His clips look good on YouTube. He looks technical, but so did Brian Gill. Ron. Brian Gill looked really good too. So you can make YouTube again. Premier League experience is super important. If you sign anybody, especially Man United are an example. If you sign from especially from the Dutch or from the Belgium leagues, it's not a guarantee of anything.
Exactly.
It's not, I mean, you
Yeah.
have an experience. Steven Bergwijn, how did he turn out?
I think Steven Bergwijn was okay-ish, I will
He's
say.
no, one thing's for sure. He's better than Brian Gill or Brennan Johnson. I'm sorry. Like I watched
Yeah,
Steven
I think it
Bergwijn.
was better than that. But again, his one the issue was again with him was the attitude. He was late at
Yeah, the
training.
attitude again. Yeah,
Yeah, the
you
attitude,
couldn't be.
and we got rid of him straight away when the attitude issues started popping up quite a bit.
No,
So
but like, so that's why now I know Spurs fans are gonna say, "Oh, Brentford." No, they didn't. Just you guys didn't think he's worth that money. It's kind of like when Arsenal, when we didn't sign Mudryk. I would have loved Mudryk. I think he's a super.
neither I was.
I think he's a super talented player. Super. I think at Arsenal he would have absolutely been amazing. The way he plays, how fast he is. I think we needed that type of profile of player. But I'm not paying 100 million euros for a guy that had 25 games in the Ukrainian league. I'm sorry. Like that's I get he's super talented and he had amazing games in the Champions League, but that's still too risky in my opinion. Still too risky. I would pay 50 to 60 million for Pedro Neto instead. That's just my opinion. Like, because Pedro Neto has played in the Premier League for 2 years. He's proven in the Premier League. Yes, is he injury prone? Okay, but he's not going to play as much as he did for Wolves because he has Saka, Martinelli, he has competition. So that's I always prefer to sign Premier League experienced players. Always. That because it's not always guaranteed. Like Sambi Lokonga had the same hype as Nusa. They both came from the Belgium league. Sambi Lokonga was captain of Anderlecht, was a super up-and-coming midfielder that everybody was raving about, Sambi Lokonga. He came to Arsenal. You could see he has talent. The way he plays, he's very good on the ball. He's got a really nice pass, stuff like that. But he just doesn't have the, I would say, the physicality or the aggression to play in the Premier League.
No,
Maybe
I agree with that. I agree with that. Like that's why I think Brian Hill was a failure in terms of signing.
Brian Hill, whoever scouted him and recommended him is a complete should be fired because it was so easy to see why Brian Hill wouldn't fit in the Premier League. The guy needs to hit the gym and gain at least 10, 15 pounds.
10, 15 kilos.
Yeah.
I think
like,
the guy is even more slim than
like
me.
don't get me wrong, he might be the most skillful guy in the world, but one little push and all of his technique goes. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
exactly.
no, it's just okay.
Yeah.
Let's do for the final 10 minutes Premier League prediction.
Yeah, for last one. I can't skip this topic, but Eric Dier has started for Bayern. By the way, guys, all the Eric Dier haters in
That's
the
not
mud.
because he's good, Elias, because all their defenders are either at the Asia Cup.
Yeah,
or
but he
injured
started for Bayern. People told me he can't start for Bayern. He started for Bayern, and
now.
he
Well,
had
he
he had a
started for
decent
Bayern
game.
because they have nobody else. That's why. That's why he started.
Yeah,
for
but he did.
And
People
only
told
he
me
started for Bayern. They conceded 2 goals and should have drawn because Augsburg. missed the
None of
last-
them were his fault. None of them were his fault.
course,
One was
of course,
it was both of them were on delete. I'm not saying that delete is a worse defender than Dar, but yesterday he was awful. Like he picked up that yellow as well. It was kind of foolish. And actually, Eric Dier had a good game. I personally think that Eric Dier has been signed due to his long balls, and that's what you saw yesterday. Is like 8 out of 9
Eric
long
Dier
balls
has
in
been
bracket.
signed because he's the prototypical Thomas Tuchel signing. Thomas
Exactly.
Tuchel loves to sign players for the sake of just signing players. Oh, I need a number 9. I'm desperate. I'm gonna sign Lukaku even though he doesn't fit in my system.
Was Lukaku
I'm
is
just gonna-
signing? I thought Lukaku was already there. Oh no, it was his signing. It was
He
his
signed
signing.
him, yeah. Like
Yeah, but back then, everybody was excited about Lukaku. When Chelsea signed Lukaku, everybody was more or less excited about him. I remember, like, when-
me. I wasn't streaming them, but I knew he would be a flop because he failed at Man United. So I knew he's too cumbersome to play for the Premier League. He's too slow in terms of
Actually, apparently, Ange wanted to sign him in the summer. I was
no, of course,
a
yeah,
bit
of
skeptical.
course. No, I just no. I'm telling you what.
I would actually have Timo Werner over Lukaku as a number 9.
They're both shit to last. I wouldn't have
I'll
any
have
of them.
Timo Werner.
No, as a number 9, are you kidding me? No, I'd have Lukaku.
Yeah,
at least
I'll have
Lukaku can build. He has a physical profile that suits the Premier League. He's strong.
Yeah,
He can hold up the ball. At least Lukaku, he can cause a problem. Timo Werner isn't fast enough for the Premier League. He's not skillful enough for the Premier League. He's one-footed and he has no composure of finishing whatsoever. So I think this
No, I
signing,
I, I would still start Timo Werner
you
over
just
the
signed
Werner.
him. You just signed him for space on the bench because
No,
Instead of Dane Scarlett playing or being on the bench, you have now Timo Werner to make yourselves feel better. Oh, we have Timo Werner. He played for Chelsea. Okay, great. So yeah, just well, I'm telling you, he's not a good. He's a stopgap. Stopgaps rarely work because what happens is, I've told you this on WhatsApp. What happens is that after 2 months, if he sees that he's not getting opportunities, he's not playing, he switches off, Elias, because he's like, what's the fucking point? I'm gonna go back to Leipzig anyways. So he doesn't care anymore. That's the problem with stopgaps.
let's see. Let's see. He may turn out to be really good, and we may sign him permanent.
No,
I mean,
let's see. I mean,
Kulusevski was a bench player at Juve. He was kind of like mediocre when we
yeah,
signed him
but
as
yeah,
well.
but Kulusevski was a bench player at Juventus because he was just really young, and Allegri is just like Tuchel is allergic to young players. Rarely
For some
plays them
reason.
unless they're ridiculous, like they're ridiculously good. And Kulusevski just never got an opportunity at Juventus. The season before, when he got signed for Juventus, he was one of the best young players in Serie A. So, and then when he did play for Juventus, where did Allegri play him? As a second striker or as a right winger? So how are you gonna play well when you don't play for the position you played really
Let's
well?
see. Let's see. I think the Timo one, I'm willing to give it a chance. Like I'm 50-50 on the beginning with him. I think that he
How are
may
you,
turn out to
okay,
be a better player.
Elias, let me ask you this. Okay, you're 50-50. Okay. If Arsenal, Man United, or any of the other top teams that you're competing, if Arsenal had signed Timo Werner on loan, what would have been your reaction?
I would be making fun of them. Yeah.
Exactly. So don't give me this bullshit that you're 50-50.
Yeah, but
So
we didn't pay 65 million for him like you guys did for Howards. He
how
came
does
on. He's
wait,
he's here on a loan.
I'm
He's
asking
here
you,
on a loan. He's here on a loan. We needed a stopgap signing for this time.
okay,
Why not?
we're not talking about Kai Havertz, who has more goals and assists than Kulusevski, for
Yeah, but a
example.
similar situation. But a similar situation.
Okay. He has more goals than Kulusevski or assists, and he has more goals and assists
Are
than
you sure?
Jonathan.
Are you sure?
Yeah, check.
So Howards has more goals than Kulusevski or Brennan Johnson
Or
this
Brennan
season.
Johnson. Yeah, check.
Brennan Johnson, maybe yes. I don't think so. It's more than Kulusevski.
He has more. He has 4 goals and 2 assists, if I'm not mistaken.
He has 4 goals and 1 assist.
1 assist. How many Kulusevski has?
I think Kulusevski has more.
No,
Let me just
Kulusevski, I think, has 2 or
check.
3 goals. He has 3 goals.
Kulusevski has
3 goals.
5 goals and 2 assists.
5 goals.
There you go.
Okay.
Yeah, 5 goals and 2 assists.
Still, okay,
There
they're
you go.
quite close, but okay.
Yeah,
Uh,
but he's
We're not talking about Kai Havertz. We're talking about Timo Werner. If Arsenal had signed Timo Werner on loan, what would have been your reaction?
Oh yeah, I would have made fun of you guys definitely,
So then
but
why are you 50-50 for when Spurs sign?
the situation is different. Okay, the situation is slightly
How is it
different
different?
at this time.
You're
It's
signing
different.
Arsenal are signing a shit player, so you make fun of us. But when you
Yeah,
sign Timo Werner, it's a
yeah,
low risk signing.
because so definitely, if you guys would have signed Timo Werner as well, I think you guys would be saying the same thing as well. Especially
Yeah,
you, Stefan. I know you. I
no
know you.
chance,
Especially
no chance, no chance. I would have not been happy. I don't rate
you have
Timo.
been happy with the Kai Howard signing all this season, and you
No,
are
I
saying that
haven't.
you
I haven't been happy.
are you sure?
I just think the criticism of Kai Havertz has been over the top from Arsenal fans.
That's what
Because,
I feel. That's what I feel. I think the criticism for Timo Werner has been over the top as well. I think he's
but you
definitely
don't.
better than.
But you don't. You just said that if Arsenal had signed Timo Werner on loan, you would have made fun of us.
Yeah, I would.
The same way I defended Kai
I
Havertz.
would when he was for Chelsea. When he was for Chelsea, I used to make fun of Chelsea fans as well.
Exactly. So
I was having
let's
a bit of
go.
a laugh with my Chelsea friends as
Okay,
well when
let's
we
go.
signed,
Let's go
signed him.
because I have to go soon. Let's do Premier League
Yeah.
predictions
Okay.
for all the games.
Premier League prediction. First game, Nottingham
Okay,
versus
first game.
Arsenal.
Let me just get them out. So the first game, let's do Nottingham Forest Arsenal. What's your prediction and why?
2-1 Arsenal or 3-1 Arsenal. I think 3-1 Arsenal.
Okay. I'm gonna go for 2-0 Arsenal. Also, I don't think Nottingham have enough to score a goal against us, and
Okay.
we're the best defensive team this year. So
Fulham versus Everton. I'll go for
that's a
four
different.
one. Okay, Everton has been lately okay. I'll go for 2-1 win for Fulham at home. Fulham at home can be.
I'm different. I'm gonna go for a 2-1 win for Everton. I think Fulham are quite weak on corners. I've seen them concede quite a few goals, and yeah, I'm gonna go for Everton. 2-1 for Everton. Next
Okay,
game, Luton Town
Luton
against Brighton.
Luton Town at home. Uh,
Brighton have a terrible,
three
terrible away record. Terrible. They're like
three. Okay,
3 goals. It's Luton are
3-2. 3-2 Brighton.
okay. I'm gonna go for a 2-1 win for Luton. I think Brighton are like Jekyll and Hyde when it comes to their home and away form. They have a terrible away form. Luton are super tough at home. Super tough. They're gonna be really up for it. They won a big game also against Everton yesterday, so they'll be pumped.
Big up,
They'll be-
John.
yeah, thanks, John. Okay, second game. That's gonna be a classic. Crystal Palace Sheffield. Jesus Christ, that's gonna be such a shit game.
1-1 draw.
I'm gonna go 1-0 win Crystal Palace, and a very interesting game next.
Villa Newcastle. Yeah, that's gonna
Villa
be interesting.
Newcastle. What's your prediction for that, Elias? It's at Villa. Don't forget, Villa's home record is formidable.
3-1 Villa.
I don't think so. I think Villa have been riding their luck the last few weeks, especially after the New Year. They've had a few lucky games.
I know why you're going for that prediction.
I think I'm gonna go for a 2-2 draw. I think Newcastle won over the weekend. That will give them a bit of confidence that they won at Fulham. So I think they're gonna build some momentum. Okay, next game. Fuck me, Manchester City Burnley.
5-0 Man City.
Yeah, I agree. 4-0, I would say. Actually, you know what? Burnley might score. I'm gonna go 4-1.
Okay.
Okay. The biggest game of the weekend: Spurs Brentford. It's
Big game of the weekend. Oh. I tell you what, I'm gonna go for 2-1 Spurs.
2-1 Spurs. Okay. I'm gonna go for the exact same scoreline also. I also think you'll beat them at home. 2-1.
Slightly interesting game. Liverpool versus Chelsea. Poch versus Klopp at Anfield.
Chelsea they've played really well against the top teams, the best teams. They played really well against us. They played really well against Man City. They played who else did they play?
But it's
They,
Anfield.
they beat you guys 4-1. They lost to Villa though. I don't know. To be honest, I don't know. I think Chelsea are going to be up for it. Liverpool, let me tell you, Liverpool rarely play well against Chelsea. They rarely beat Chelsea. Like, it's very rare when they beat Chelsea.
I think it's going to be a 2-2 draw.
I also have a feeling it might be a draw. I'm going to go for. I'm hoping this is optimism rather than.
Yeah, but it's going to be a very boring game.
I'm going to go for 1-1. I'm going to go for 1-1.
West Ham Bournemouth.
Bournemouth are really good. I've been really impressed. I've watched them quite a few times this year. West Ham are either dog shit or good at home. I'm going to go for a 2-1 win for Bournemouth. What are you going to go for?
I'm going to go for 2-1 win for West Ham.
For West Ham, okay. Final game.
Wolves United. 2-0 Wolves.
Yeah. I'm not going to go 2-0. I'll go 1-0. Wolves don't score a lot of goals. I don't know if they can score. Maybe. I don't know. I'm going to go for a 1-0 win. Yeah. Okay, man. That's it. Those are all the games.
Yep, and that's it for today. I'll be back during the week as well. I may do one more show, and I'll let you guys know. Let's see if there's any transfer news. And I think, in 3 more days, it's going to be the transfer window deadline day. Actually, are we playing on a deadline day as well? Yeah, the game is on the deadline day itself. Yep.
What isn't deadline Wednesday? You play on Wednesday? Yeah, you are on
Yep.
deadline day.
Yep. We are playing on the deadline day itself. So yep. And that's it from me, guys.
Oh, I just saw your next game, huh? After the Brentford game, tasty. Goodison Park, Everton away.
Yeah, that's gonna be an interesting one.
Yeah, it's gonna be,
Yeah, that's gonna be interesting one, and it's straight away next week. That's
yeah.
it from me, guys, and yeah, I'm back already now. So if you guys wanna get in touch with me, yeah, John Fitzpatrick, I want to have you on one day as well for a show. Get in touch with me on Twitter. Tell me when you can, and that's it from me today. I'll be back with another show during the week, and on top of that, I'll be doing this show next weekend as well as usual. Stay strong, stay Spurs. We'll see you guys next time.
No, don't stay spread. Thank you guys for watching the show. Thanks, Elias, for hosting it. Thank you, man. It was a great
Yeah,
show.
thank you, Stefan, for coming on.
See
It
you
was really
guys.
good.
Yeah.